had to do a makeshift live with not a great thumbnail, but we got it.
It's not up yet.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Oh, yay! That's the worst thumbnail I've ever seen. Okay, let's try this again. Hey. Hello. Not Hecko. Hello. Round 2. Baby.
There's like nobody on now. They're like,
there's 2. They're coming.
We're done with your crap.
They're coming. It's just going to take a second.
Sorry, guys. My phone was not working properly. Of course, if you guys were on the Nurse Flipper live, you'll know that we just always have technical difficulties. It's like not alive without it.
It's a mess. Sorry, my cup's in the way.
No, you're good. I'm just making sure that everybody can see and hear us.
Hi again. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but literally she did the exact same thing twice and it worked the second time, so it's fun.
I've got to get a new phone. I've had this one for a couple of years, and I'm probably going to get the one that you got. It's like the next upgrade for me, but here they have really good cameras. But let you guys let me know down in the comments, but like, are you like me where you would rather just hold on to your phone for like ever because it's too much of a hassle to get a new one? Because that's how it is for me.
It's not a hassle anymore. So it used to be. All right, I'm ratting myself out. But I used to be a huge issue with going to get new phones, and I always had this like panic about getting a new phone because I was like, obviously as a kid on my parents' phone plan, I was like, oh my god, what are they gonna see that I've been doing? So I was always anxious and like, I'm not gonna go into specifics, but I'm gonna say my parents found out a lot of things sometimes when I went to get my phone changed over. So I held on to that baby forever. And now you literally just download an app to your phone and it moves everything to your new phone and it keeps your apps in the same order and everything.
So I've used the like Samsung Switch, but maybe it's better than it used to be. But
it was fantastic.
A couple of years ago, I got this phone and it did not move everything over.
Mine literally moved absolutely everything over completely.
We'll have to see.
In the same order and everything. Like, exactly the same. It was fantastic.
Hi, Pennsylvania, Seattle.
I'm gonna come see you, NW Purple Sparkles.
One of these days, we're gonna have everything figured out. We're not gonna be late.
We weren't late.
We're going to. The video's gonna work, and I have a lot of people complain. Well, not a lot. I guess it's only like 1 or 2, but like I get comments every now and then that are like, "I can't hear the video. You need to get a mic." And I was like, "I think you can hear me just fine, but nothing will ever be perfect. Real life."
Welcome to Casual Tuesday. I decided that I was going to wear leggings and a jacket to work today. I also ate in what I would consider at least a 4.5-star restaurant today for lunch in leggings, fuzzy Crocs, and a jacket. So don't judge me today. It was delicious.
Hi from Minnesota. Yeah, we had a really good time on Cat's show. If you guys missed it, I don't know how, because you guys were like asking us to get on the Nurse Flipper Cat's YouTube channel, and we were on there. When was it? The 22nd?
I don't know.
Is that correct?
Whatever last Tuesday was. It was late.
We were there last Tuesday. We were doing like kind of a late live show. There were a lot of people on. They had a lot of questions. We didn't get to all of them, but we had a lot of fun. And it wasn't just us though. It was Scott with Cha-Ching King and George. But what's his channel name?
I can't remember.
It's Antique something.
Yeah.
But we had a really great time. I learned a lot from them. So I learned, I think, more than the audience for the like hard goods and stuff. But we had a really good time. So if you guys missed it, I did post about the link to that on
Antique Nomad. Thank you.
Antique Nomad. Thank you.
Thank you, KJ Crimson. I appreciate it.
That was it. And there, go watch that because it was a really, really good live chat.
As usual, if you guys have questions, you can drop them at any point. I do see some that are coming up, so we will definitely jump back on those in just a second. But thank you guys for joining us today on an impromptu.
I
kind
did
of
schedule
impromptu.
it. Yeah,
We had a brief discussion yesterday and we committed to it. So
we really wanted to do one yesterday, but we couldn't get to it, and I felt so bad because I was like, man, we were just on that live show on the Nurse Flipper, and we told everybody we were trying to be better about it, and then
we
it just didn't
better.
happen. I was like, well, maybe we could do an afternoon one. Everybody is always like, you guys always do them in the mornings. I can't get on. I'm like, we'll see if we can get some afternoon people on.
All right, well, let's go ahead and jump into questions. Actually, tell me first how your week was. Tell them how your week was last week. How was Thanksgiving?
Oh, Thanksgiving. it was fine. I had some like.
Do you see this? This is the shit pot, and I'm stirring it right here.
I don't want to say I had like family drama. It was just like holiday drama, like people not wanting to do stuff, like plans getting messed up. So it was actually kind of stressful for me, but I still had a nice time. If you guys are on my Instagram, you saw like I made my own little turkey meal and it was delicious. So I was happy about it. How was yours?
It was pretty great. I got to invite some family I don't normally see, which was fun, and ate way too much food. And I had some things pop up, I would say after Thanksgiving, but it was great. I did miss Black Friday, so
yeah,
I was kind of sad that we worked Black Friday, but
we shipped.
I don't need to spend my money anyways. Like, it was safer for my wallet for me to be here instead. So I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving.
I did some phone like buying while I was there.
Thank you, Cicely some.
Thank you for the super chat. You guys are so sweet. How was you guys' Thanksgiving? Let me just real quick, since we're talking about Thanksgiving, let us know how yours was down below. But also, how were your sales around Thanksgiving? Because I've noticed that things. Yay! Someone said they finally got to go to a live. Yeah, it's the first afternoon one we done. We did that late Posh Fest one, but that was unplanned. But we have noticed. We're trying to kind of track trends on sales. When did they drop around certain holidays? When did they increase? I do have a little tip on that I just realized as I was like looking at my eBay Seller Hub performance tab. I realized there was a way I could kind of track and gauge year over year when things tend to slow down or start up. So maybe we'll share that in a video soon, or if you guys want to hear it now, let me know. But let me know how your sales were. How are our sales? I feel like they dipped a little last week.
They did a little bit, yeah. I can't say a whole lot, but they definitely dipped a little bit. I think we shipped out like 100 on Monday, which is still quite a bit, but not the like 175-ish we were doing. So it did dip a little bit, but I think it's because a lot of people were spending time with their family. I kind of assumed a lot of people were traveling or in the car and things like that. So
I'll just say when I did this like little hack that I figured out, this week that we're in should be like a week where sales start to go up and then they plummet back down next week, traditionally for us. So
yeah, let's see what happens.
We'll see how they go.
All right, let's do it. Pamela wants to know, you mentioned that managing Posh Live would be a lot right now. If you did have the time, what would your strategy be to see if it was worth your time, especially since you source at the bins a lot?
So we've talked a lot about live shows, both Whatnot and Posh Lives. We just haven't done it for the reason you just said, we're super busy. Because we haven't really dove into it yet to see what the back end looks like a lot, I can't say, like, I have something in my head that I think that would work well for us, but because I haven't seen the back end yet, I don't know for sure. What I would like to do with a live show to kind of test it out is to get stuff from the bins that, we're definitely, would have better luck on with live sales. And we can talk about that in a moment too, because we were kind of debating that, like, why would we sell a Patagonia fleece on a Whatnot show if we can sell it on eBay and it would still sell in the same week and we could get more money? But our strategy would kind of be, at least in my opinion, would be to kind of treat it like a thrift haul. So we purchase the items from the bins, low cost of goods, because I do hear that, that things move quick, but the average sale price like plummets on Whatnot. So we would definitely want to do things, at least to start, until we figured everything out, that we're getting at a very low cost of goods, kind of bring them in, and then before those items actually get like fully listed, before we invest all that time into it, to kind of treat it like a thrift haul. And we just pop on and we show the items we've got, we set them live for auction. If someone wants to buy them, then great, we can move them out. That way they're already sold and we don't spend that extra time listing them, that would be kind of my strategy. But because we haven't seen the back end, I don't know how much effort yet it takes to like put into that, because I think you do have to, snap a picture and you have to do a little bit of a description. So that's kind of our strategy, but we have not even come close to being able to try that yet.
We talked a little bit too about buying some more regional, I'm gonna call them regional brands. So where we're from, people don't buy typically like Anthropology, Free People, stuff like that. Most of what our people are buying are more of like the everyday brands. So we talked about picking up some of those items, things like plus size American Eagle, a lot of the stuff, same thing like we get at the bins, that we think more of our locals would purchase versus just those everyday high end brands. So we'll kind of experiment with that too and see kind of how that goes. But
if you guys are having success with it, drop a comment down below and let us know how it's working for you.
Cicely wants to know, please touch on Posh VA. I'm assuming Posh or VA.
Yeah.
I love it.
So it's actually unfortunately not going to be in the link to this video until after this live is over and I publish it and I can go back for the description, because we had that technical difficulty in the beginning. But in every other one of my videos, there is a link to Posh or VA with like a sign up link code thing. And so you can try Posh or VA. I think they're still doing a free week, which like I just recommend like everybody at least do the free trial for a week. I'm pretty sure you don't even have to put in your credit card. Whenever you know that you're going to use it, just sign up that week for the free trial, try it out. I promise you'll want to stick with it after that. But Posture VA is just an extension. It's a website. They explain how to download the extension. It's literally like 3 clicks. You download it, and then it's just like a little bubble that you can click on and you tell it what to do. So you're logged into your Poshmark and you say, I want you to share my entire closet, or I want you to share just what's on this page. It'll share all of your items for you. You can also schedule sharing times. So like for me, I scheduled to share my entire closet twice a day. You can choose like reverse order, you can skip certain items, you can really play with it however you want. So we schedule. There's also a sharing limit in the settings that you can choose. So Posture VA, I feel like, I'm trying to think of the number. You guys, whoever uses it, can drop a comment down below. But like Posture VA does state like, hey, you might get put in Poshmark sharing jail if you share over X amount, which I think theirs is like between 6,000 and like 7,000. So I have mine set to 6,500. So even though we have 5,200 active listings at Poshmark, it'll share once on my first schedule, and then my second schedule it'll share however many until it hits my limit, so that I'm always out of Poshmark jail. You can choose to share like slow speed, medium speed, fast speed. You can do kind of whatever you want on there. And then my favorite thing about it right now is the drop prices. Mm-hmm. So when closet clear out happens, or even if you just want to drop your prices because they're older items that are sitting, they have an actions tab. You can click on that, and then you can choose to drop whatever percentage you want for whatever items you want. And they have this new function that you can say however many days old, or exclude however many days young, whatever. So we choose to drop anything 90 days or older during closet clear out days. Not every single closet clear out, but that has been tremendous for us for moving out older items. Mm-hmm. And it's literally, for me, just a couple of clicks with Posture VA, and then I just let it run. It's so awesome. We've made so many sales from it. I also have something set up in it. Let me finish this and then we'll move on with Posture VA, because I know everybody's like, I don't want to hear about this. But something else you can do is whenever somebody likes an item, you can choose to send them an offer for however much you want off, with however much discount shipping you want, within however many minutes you want of them liking your item. And I think we have ours set to, I think 5 minutes after somebody likes an item, they get a 10% off discount with the lowest, like the smallest cut to us shipping discount. So it's like the bare minimum that I can do, but it creates that conversation with the buyer that I'm open to offers. And again, I just set it up. It runs in the background. It's so amazing. If you guys haven't tried Poshmark VA, again, use that link and that coupon code. Again, I'm pretty sure there's a 7-day free trial. Just give it a try. I think you'll be really amazed at what all it does. And it just really, like, if you are trying to give yourself a pay raise, but you can't think of how, find a way to eliminate the tasks that you're doing so that you can get more done. And that's a big one for me.
Tammy says, on my eBay app, I've lost the ability to leave feedback. Is it just me, or could you tell me from your app if you're able to leave feedback? Maybe I just have to go to the desktop now. I just checked, which is what I was doing on my phone a second ago. I can still leave feedback. I'm not sure if that's like a random fluke with yours or whatever, but you might want to reach out to eBay. It does still allow me on the app. So
do you have to click at the bottom now?
I just
updated.
I just went to the listing, and these are obviously like already shipped ones, but you probably can't see that very well. But it gave me like an arrow, and it says share feedback or send it coupon. And I just clicked on the arrow and hit leave feedback, and it immediately popped up.
It says boost buyer engagement over every single one in your solds.
Yep. So I went to sold and just went to like paid and shipped just to see if I could. And it will say boost buyer engagement, and then underneath it that says share feedback or send a coupon with an arrow. And I clicked it, and then it gives you 2 options on the bottom here. So hopefully that helps.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe check it out. If not, reach out to eBay. I'm sure they can help you figure that out.
It might look different depending on what kind of phone you have.
That's true.
But eBay just like updated their app, I would say, within the past like couple of weeks, because we've noticed it's a lot harder to get to certain things like relist or contact buyer, send refund. So it does look a little bit different for sure. I just want to also point out, was it Tammy that asked that question?
Yep.
So Tammy, if you're willing to, there is a way that you can go to your automation preferences and you can select something to leave automatic positive feedback or automatic feedback when they send you positive feedback, so that you don't have to go and individually click those. Just saying, to save you some time, you might want to look into that.
All right. Hi, Rich. Thanks for joining us today. Sorry, we already have a lot of here. Oh, that's fine. Nope, we're good. How you decide shipping costs for eBay? Your shipping rates seem cheaper than what I can do, or are you eating that cost? We are not eating shipping costs. We do calculated shipping. So we actually weigh each item, and whatever it weighs is exactly what we're telling our buyers we can ship it for. We always try to go first class first, and then if we can't do first class, then we normally do like a padded flat rate to try to make things a little bit cheaper.
We missed you too. We've been getting a lot of shipping questions. I haven't talked to you about it yet, but like in our comments, I'm getting a ton of do we have any mods?
No, this was fine.
Okay.
But no, we do not.
Okay.
If I see anybody familiar, I will assign.
Okay. We have been getting a lot of questions about shipping. If you guys haven't already and you're like confused about shipping, I do have 2 eBay shipping videos. I'm thinking about coming out with a new one because I feel like we've changed slightly, but not really. But I don't know why people think we have lower shipping, but I have been getting that comment a lot. But we literally just do calculated shipping, and then we always add about 2 ounces for a bag and then 8 ounces if we know it's going in a box. Lately what I've been doing, I actually have a reel coming out about this, but lately what I've been doing is, if we have like, let's say a really large coat, priority mail for that calculated, depending on where it's going, is probably going to be really expensive for a heavy bulky item, but we'll do calculated priority mail. But if it can fit in like a large flat rate box, I'll add that as a secondary option so that the buyer can choose between the two, and at least they know that we're at least attempting to. Sometimes a large flat rate box is actually cheaper for someone than the calculated shipping, so that's another option as well.
Lisa, you're on here. Lisa Yvette. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I know I recognize your name. Do you have a problem with modding for us? If I elect you as a mod, let me know for sure, because I don't want to just assign you a task you don't want, but let me know if you're okay with that. How do you handle low offers? I always feel guilty and stressed about countering. Here's my tips. Sell it. Don't like get addicted to keeping it, because it's better for you to sell it quick and for a little bit less than what you'd like to than it is for you to hold it on for a year and then end up selling it for that because you haven't sold it.
Yes.
2, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? They say no. Decide before somebody starts bidding on it, what is the lowest that you are willing to go? If you are not willing to go that low, fine, move on, you'll find somebody else. But have a general percentage of how much you're willing to accept before somebody places an offer.
We just saw something, I can't remember the percentages, but we saw something at PoshFest with actual data from Poshmark that said like a percentage, I want to say it was like 50% of lowball offers turn into sales that you're comfortable with if you would just counter.
Yep.
So I always just remember that. And we also have a copy and paste sheet for any time that we are frustrated. I actually have it saved to the clipboard on my phone that if someone gives me like too low of an offer or they try to offer me and I'm not accepting offers on eBay, I have a pre-built message for them. That way I don't get as frustrated when those things happen and I just paste it in there.
Got a couple people who were glad to make lies. Did we do any Black Friday sales? We did not specifically do Black Friday sales. We did some closet clear out.
We did some closet clear out, and I also created for the entire through the end of next year a coupon for every single month. We're starting to try and use coupons, and I'm just kind of sending those out whenever I'm sending out offers. So when we send out offers to watchers, we do just a generic 10% off. The coupon is an additional 10% off. That's what I decided I was comfortable with, was basically selling it for up to 20% off. And so we created coupons, but we didn't run like a specific sale, but that is something new we've been doing.
I've heard you mention in the past that you don't like doing liquidation. I was just wondering why that is. Because a lot of people do liquidation, and a lot of times you end up with the same items that somebody else has. I'm not saying we've never done liquidation like things. Where we are, they recently, Prana did like a mass donation, given it was in our regular Goodwills, but they did a mass donation of like liquidation like items. And it was honestly like a race to list. We had to get those items up and faster, like up and listed faster than anybody else, because otherwise it was more competition for us. It was going to spike the number that were available and make it a little bit more competitive. So that's generally why we stay away from liquidation, just because a lot of it is good brands, but it's all the same kind of stuff that everybody can get. I like to think of it as like a TJ Maxx or Marshall's or something along those lines. It's kind of the vibe that it gives me, where it's a lot of that stuff is stuff you can actually go into the store and purchase. A lot of people are getting, or a lot of the stores are getting it. There's multiple sizes available. It makes it, I would say, like less demanding, more available, and honestly just a little bit harder for us to sell. So we do typically stay away from it when we can.
Yeah, if you get, let's say, a specific Free People cardigan, even though it's new with tags and liquidation, but then other resellers, let's say 5 other resellers, get the same liquidation box with the same cardigan that are also new with tags, and you guys all list them at the same time, like which one of you is going to have the competitive edge? It's going to be whoever prices it cheaper, and then they're going to undercut you, you're going to get undercut. Like
it's just a big revolving door.
Yeah, we kind of had that issue with Squishmallows for a while.
She calls them Squishmallows. Like, I get that that's kind of how it's spelled, but
Squishimals. Is that how you?
Yeah, Squishimals.
Yeah. So
you just like emphasize the mallows so much. We did. That was my fault. I'll take the credit for that.
Well, we did well. We did well in the beginning, and then
technically no, because the first batch we bought were the ones that didn't do well. The second round I splurged on, said send it, it's fine. We did good on, but we got stuck with the first ones. So I think they were 20-inch new with tag Squishmallows. I had the devil and the turkey, Dante the devil and Terry the turkey, and I got them for like, I don't know, $15 new. And at that time, they were flipping online for like almost $200. And I was
With
like,
a good sell-through rate.
with a good sell-through rate. I was like, I got this. And I don't know if it's just because we don't typically sell stuff like that or what happened, but I can't say we got burnt because we more than made our money back, but it was literally a year later before we sold them. And like, I got them as soon as they hit the sales floor. So like, I don't understand. We were ahead of the game. I honestly can't tell you what happened, but we've been buying some more Squishmallows and they've been doing okay. And we got the Hocus Pocus set, and those sold pretty much immediately. And we got the Jack Skellington Nightmare Before Christmas set, and it sold pretty quick for us too.
There's something wrong with liquidation. It just doesn't follow our business model because we focus on a high sell-through rate, and so that just doesn't fit within the funnel of our business model.
Toad Evergreen. I thought that said Todd for a second. Sorry. I'm glad that you were able to make it with us today. Welcome. Ruth, sorry that your sales weren't so great. We have those days where it's like such an influx. Sometimes it's great and sometimes it's not.
Thank you for modding for us. I really appreciate it.
Yes. I have Instagram was better than expected considering me and my older sister are not necessarily in the best of terms. We still manage to not want to hurt one another, so I find that a success. That's good. Yeah. My Thanksgiving was wonderful. Have my own online store and sell on platforms too. Sales have been down, including locally. Yeah, I think holidays kind of have an effect on that just because I think people stop paying as much attention to things online because they're traveling or spending time with family or shopping or whatever else.
Slow sales are a lot less stressful if you know that they're about to happen. So I would kind of keep track this year. If you're experiencing slow sales at certain times, write it down on your calendar so that you can look back on that next year and you can be like, okay, I know this is going to be slow, and it doesn't stress you out as much, and you can kind of plan for it in a way.
That's a good shout out. So we came from an employer before where we literally kept yearly calendars, and like everything that happened, we wrote on the calendar as to like tell us what was going on, when we had a really busy day, when we broke a record, when we had snow, when somebody called off. And that helps us keep track of business on everything. We have last year's, we have this year's. Obviously, beginning of the year, we'll purchase another one. But it might not be a bad idea for you to have for your business as well, just to help you kind of keep track of what things are. If you don't like the humongous like wall calendars like we have, you could even just do like a planner book and write in it every week or whatever that looks like. Sugar Bomb 26 has a good question. Can you tell us what percentage of your total items actually sell? Does it all eventually sell? Is there always a percentage of things that never ever sell? Hit it.
We usually, can you do a calculation for me?
Sure. Or like a calculator, actual calculator?
I can't get on my phone right now, but because we're using it to film. But do you know how many? Let's just say.
What do you want? Tell me what you need. I'll look it up.
Okay, we typically right now sell 30 items a day times 7.
Yep.
Gives us our week times 52.
10,920. Just for the record, y'all see it.
Okay, so what we did is we're typically selling 30 items a day, 7 days a week, times 52, the amount of weeks in a year, and that gives us 10,920 listings. We currently have about 5,200, and to be honest with you guys, even though we're listing a lot, we have been stuck at 5,200 listings for months. So that's about half active that we sell. So I'm going to say that generally we turn over our entire inventory twice a year. Now, granted, there are definitely some stuff that I've been sitting on for 2 years that we're currently ending and moving out of our store. But we're working on processes so that that doesn't happen anymore. We're still kind of debating, but I would like to see nothing sit longer than a year. And if it does, we're gonna
ship it out.
It's gonna kick the bucket. But but I would say we typically turn items over. Now, as far as the sell-through rate goes, the one thing you got to keep in mind is like, so we're listing 30 a day right now. We're selling on average 30 a day. But about half of our store is crap that I picked up before we started following a high sell-through rate model. Had those items not been there, would I be selling more? Probably. So I don't think you can just, look at your store when for years you did it one way and then you go into it and then you're like, okay, well, let me track my sell-through rate. Those bad items are bogging your store down. So just something to keep in mind. I don't want anyone to hear this and go, oh, I should be turning my store over twice a year, or I should, wow, you're moving items really slowly. Like, I just want everybody to hear the total story, I guess, and to really consider your total story for your own sell-through rate. But that's a little bit of a glimpse into how much we're turning over. But we've been at what most people call reseller nirvana for a while, which is where you're selling the same amount you're listing. But that did not happen until like 6 months after we started focusing on a high sell-through rate model.
I think it's really important to note too that there comes a point in time where you have to cut your losses on an item that you have in your closet where it's just not worth keeping anymore. Kaylee and I went through stuff, like a month ago, maybe. We literally, so I don't know if you guys can know, but on eBay, you can actually filter based on like title alphabetically, the date it was listed, the price, whatever. So we filter ours based on start date, and normally we just do it like newest to oldest. But when we're trying to do this process, we always filter oldest to newest. And then we literally just started on the oldest item we had. We looked at it and decided, okay, is there something wrong with the listing? Why hasn't it sold? Did we spell the brand wrong? Did we not put the size in? Is the picture complete crap? Like, what's wrong with it, essentially? And if everything else checked out, we just didn't sell it and the pricing looked like it should, we either comped it again to see what it looked like, see if it was still good or wasn't desirable. If it wasn't, we just got rid of it. We made a donation, we gave it away, whatever that looks like, just to cut those items out. You also have to think that those items are going to bog down your closet if you have those items. Not only are they holding a place in your store, but they're bogging down a place in your closet as well, as far as like having a listing that's not doing anything or isn't bringing any traffic. So I would definitely make sure that you clear out, maybe once a year, go through and say, okay, I've had a year to sell these, or whatever this looks like for you. I've had a year to sell it and it's not working and I'm cutting my losses. So you don't have to follow our plan, but I would plan on making your own plan for what that looks like. And again, have it planned out before you have items that get there, or don't look at the items and develop the plan so you have like no hard feelings about letting stuff go.
Let me answer a question. It's actually at the bottom, but it just popped up, but just because it's like about the same stuff. But they said, what percentage do you consider a maximum sell-through rate when buying? I think they meant minimum when buying an item. Do you want to quickly touch on sell-through rate?
Yeah, so for us, sell-through rate, we want to have 100% sell-through rate on items. So say for instance, we look up an item and it has, let's say 50 available, right? So we're talking about specific. We're talking about cool men's silencer pants, size 40-30. I don't know, I'm just making this up. It has the brand, it has the style, it has a size, you could do a color if you needed to, but as specific as essentially you can get. There's 50 available. What we would want to see is the same number or more in the sold. So we would filter, it's pre-owned, we filter to pre-owned, there's 50 available, we filter to sold/completed, we would also want to see 50 available. For us, the rule is 100% sell-through rate. Obviously we want more, but 100% is always good. If it's less than that, which we've been kind of getting a little loosey-goosey here, I probably shouldn't admit that, but I'm going to. We have said it has to have really probably like a 75% sell-through rate and, keyword, and, 2 factors. Meaning it has to have 2 things to it that we know add value, whether it's a material, whether it's a size, whether it's a style or a pattern. And that's kind of how we've been negotiating. But if you're new and you're starting out, or like you're not super familiar with like breaking the mold on style based items, I would just stick to your 100% sell-through rate and trust that. It definitely hasn't led us astray. Nana's Treasure said she had 9 sales on Thanksgiving. Woohoo, Nana's Treasure.
I think that might be more than what we had.
Probably. Cicely, I know we already kind of briefly talked about Posher VA. So if you have any other questions, let us know. I think you might have left that question before we start talking about it. But if there's anything we missed, feel free to drop it back in the comments and let us know.
Yeah.
Toad Evergreen says, my 31-day total was down for the first time this year, only by 3%.
Not bad.
Yeah, don't let that tip you over.
What was it compared to last year, though? I bet you're up.
Mm-hmm. It says sales were not that great on Thanksgiving, but they picked up on Friday and Saturdays. They've been slow kind of since. I think, for me, my opinion, I think that happens to a lot of people. So give it some time. Honey Gigi said she had some forced sales, like giving very high discounts plus messaging potential buyers. I think, again, people were out shopping, moving around. Amanda Holiday says it's free to schedule listings on eBay Canada, but not in the US. That's interesting. Maybe it's coming. We're going to come to Canada.
Yeah. What the heck, eBay? I wonder if you
Hannah.
get different, maybe we get a benefit in a different area that you don't, though.
Maybe. Retailers are changing their return policy. Expect shorter windows, shipping, and restocking fees. Do you think it will be good for resellers? Maybe. If that's the case, I think okay, I'm gonna go rogue here for a second. I get really angry by really crappy return policies. I think you might see an influx of people who Little Miss Nat, hey girl, hey. I think you might see an influx of people who get, like, if they know about it ahead of time, I just don't think they won't buy it there. Like, that's me. If I go somewhere and I know I can't return something that I've, like, bought and tried on and it doesn't fit, then I'm not going to buy it where they're more than likely. But I think if they start a new policy about returns, people don't know about it yet, rather than going through the issue, I think that they'll just donate it or give it away or something. So you might see an influx.
I mean, I feel like the only reason eBay has these return policies, or Poshmark has those return policies, are because of retailers. Like, I think that the online platforms just kind of follow suit. But I do think that if retailers shortened the return window, that eBay and them, if that became the norm, I feel like eBay and them would do the same. I tell you what, it really sucks that buyers can have up to 30 days to return something. And as a buyer, I would say like 14 days. I would be happy with 14 days return, but like 30 days.
Girl, do you remember that freaking person? I hope you weren't a watcher. This woman bought a sweater, and tried to return it 45 days later because she tried it on and didn't like it. And I was like, hold up. What are you doing? 45 days. Yeah. I get stuff in the mail and immediately try it on, and then if I don't like it, I send it back.
Yeah, I mean,
but also
you should know, right? A buyer should know.
I'm also the kind of person that puts it in a package, though, to send back, and then it sits on my stoop in my kitchen for like 3 weeks. So I might be that buyer at the same time.
But if you knew you had to return it within a certain window, would you?
Do you know how much stuff I've just thrown in the trash from not returning it?
Oh, God. I like Poshmark, where they're like, hey, they bother the buyer. They're like, you received your purchase, rate it. You've got 3 days or you can't return it. Like, yes. I prefer that. But I would say that if retailers start shortening that, I definitely think that the online platforms would follow suit, and I would be here for it. I wouldn't be okay, like, as a buyer with not being able to return anything.
Yes.
But, like, shortening the window, I feel like 14 days is, like, ample time to return something.
Diventory says they use Closet Assistant, too. I don't know if you've tried that one or not.
I've heard about that one, yeah. I do this thing where I fall in love with one service and I just don't want to use any of the other ones.
Until they sync the ship.
But, like, we use List Perfectly. I have looked into Vendoo to see if it would be a better option for us. In my opinion, it is not. So we stick with them. And since then, I've, met everybody at List Perfectly. I've created great relationships and I advocate for it. I absolutely love it. Posher VA, I just tried it. I loved it. I haven't really tested out, like, other platforms. So I can't say, but I will tell you that I just absolutely love Poshmark VA, and I think the price is totally worth it. So I know there's some like actually free ones that you can do, but they don't do everything that Poshmark VA can.
Pennies to Riches says, when I end a listing, I can no longer go back and look at the listing without clicking sell similar and keeping photos to see it. I told eBay, but no fix yet. So I just want to make sure I understand. You're saying that you can't view it anymore, I'm assuming, is what you're getting at. All I know is I just went to like our unsold, and if I go to the three dots, like it does only say relist, sell similar, or see traffic history. But if I just like touch it, so, okay, hold on. Let me go back.
You have to refresh it.
You'll see originally it like doesn't show the photo anymore, but if I refresh it, now it's not going to do it for me. It does pop back up with it at the bottom, and you can just touch it, and then it goes back into letting you see it again. We've noticed that this is like a glitch that's been happening. It's still there, but it doesn't look like it at first. So, like, I literally just clicked on it the first time, and it didn't pop up, and I clicked on it the second time and it did. So maybe try doing that, but it definitely is a glitch, and it will let you do it, but it's been doing some like funky things.
Yeah, check for like those three dots, because I didn't even notice those three dots were there, to be honest.
Well, the three dots don't help you. It's just touching it that helps you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I don't know, but
It's different.
Yeah. So we both have Android. And like Android thing is like known for like three dots. So like I always tend to look for those, but it doesn't give you the option other than relist, sell similar, and see traffic history.
That's what she wanted, right? Was relist.
No, she said that she wanted to see it, but the only way she could do it was doing a sell similar and keeping the photos to see it. Oh. So I don't know. I don't. From what I understood, I didn't think you were trying to relist it, but if you are, it's there.
Yeah.
If not, even when you click on it, it gives you the
She said refreshing works.
Yeah, it does work. Weird. It's so strange, but pennies to riches. Give it a shot.
I have so many drafts now.
Right?
We've been having so much stuff like that lately. We're like,
Oh, this is good, girl. I'm excited. Sorry.
You're cold.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We're gonna cuddle on YouTube. I'm gonna get that pen away from here. K Hope says, I closed it.
I'm terrified.
What are your top 3 words of wisdom for someone wanting to go full-time as fast as possible? I got this. Can I go first?
Yes, please.
Okay, good. Think about it. 1, have a set of rules, thoroughly think about it, throw it in the trash and start over. 2, be flexible to like change things if you need to. So like try a plan. If it doesn't work, scratch it and start over. Be open-minded, think things through. I guess just be kind of versatile, be open to change. And 3, make sure you're like 100% dedicated. If you aren't like focused all the time and like driven to just go nonstop, then I think you're going to kind of like sink your ship. If you're wanting to be a full-time reseller, I think the best thing that you could do is like go all in, throw everything you've got at it, put as much time as you've got into it. Make sure that you do your research, watch other YouTubers, maybe find a reselling buddy, find an accountability person, whether it's at home or somebody, again, reselling community that can kind of hold you accountable, check in with you. But the biggest thing I think, and this is my opinion, biggest thing that I think can sink somebody who's a reseller, whether you're part-time or full-time, is lack of motivation and lack of accountability and lack of just dedication to it. I don't think I would come to work some days if Kaylee wasn't here holding me accountable, and I feel like I'm gonna go on a limb and say that she might feel the same way.
I think everybody feels that way sometimes.
Yeah. I feel like when Kaylee hired me, she was like, I'm hiring you to be my accountability buddy. And it's really worked for both of us. But like, honestly, having the girls here to motivate us, like, I have to come to work because I know that they're going to be here and they're going to be texting me like, where are you and what are you doing? So find an accountability buddy. Hit it.
I'll be quick, but I would say like, and I'm saying this because these are like mistakes that I made, or these are things that I did that actually ended up working out. But I would say like, number 1, try to make your process as absolutely as simple as possible. Don't go for the fluff.
Yes.
In the beginning, we did like thank you cards. We wrapped a lot of things in tissue paper. I used to tie twine around things. Like, why did I do that? I don't know. It looks great. Don't get me wrong. But if you're trying to go full time, like you want to get there quickly, and even if you are full time and you want to get to higher sales quickly, eliminate your processes, make things as simple as absolutely possible. If you don't have to do something, then don't. And, honestly, your buyers are probably not going to notice a difference, but try to make your process as absolutely simple and as straightforward as possible. And then number 2 would be you're going to have to make a set schedule. A lot of people think that, okay, I want to be full-time because I want to run my own business and I want to be able to do whatever I want to do, which is true. But you can still do that and still have a set schedule. Like you can choose to take days off or time off or work half days, but in general, figure out, okay, when am I going to work? These are working hours. These are not working hours. And then you have to hold yourself accountable to that, because if you don't, you won't make it there very quickly. And then number 3 would just be, again, you mentioned getting there quickly. You're going to want to sell items quickly to be able to have the income to be full-time. So I would say I would really consider your business model, going to commit to one, basically.
Yes.
Either, get things for super cheap at the bins and super commit to that and only list those items for cheap and work on a quantity business, or decide, okay, I'm going to work on a high sell-through rate business and I'm only going to pick up items that are high sell-through rate. But I think one of those two is the key, I really think, to becoming full-time quickly, but don't go like in between in the beginning.
Honey Gigi's talking about returns, says the reasons are normally I just don't like it. I get it. We don't like returns either, but I feel like if you don't accept returns, one, it just makes buyers, I think, in my opinion, feel like they don't want to purchase it because if it doesn't fit or something, then they can't send it back. But 2, most times they're going to force it anyways. They're going to find a reason or a flaw or something you've missed in your listing and then make you take it back anyway. So hold strong, Honey Gigi. Stick with it, and just don't let those people discourage you. If they don't like it, I'm sure somebody else will. Rack on Racks says they share their closet every half hour every day and no problem. So that's good.
Dang, that's awesome.
Hasham says, are you doing drop shipping on eBay as well?
No.
We just do calculated shipping.
No, that's not what they're talking about.
Oh, no, we don't, because I don't know what it is. So clearly we don't.
In case anybody is watching and you're like, what is drop shipping? In the simplest terms, drop shipping is basically you're selling an item that someone else is selling and you're just raising the price slightly. So like if I wanted to drop ship something from Walmart, I would pick an item that's for sale on walmart.com. I would list it myself on eBay, let's say. When the buyer purchases my listing, I purchase it off of walmart.com and I ship it to the buyer.
That sounds terrifying.
That's drop shipping. No, we do not do that. I personally, I don't want to offend anybody, but I personally think that is a terrible business model. It would not work for me. So.
That's just terrifying, because what if you go to, like, okay, all right, rabbit hole, here we go.
So sorry to who this offends.
No, it wasn't like that. But like that must have been what was happening. So I tried to order a part on eBay for my car because I tried to order it from like the dealership and it was like outrageous. So long story short, I drive a Jeep-ish something and all the parts are very expensive. So I tried to order them off eBay and they canceled it from 3 different places because they said that they weren't able to get it shipped in. And I'm assuming it was all coming from the same warehouse, and the warehouse probably had an incorrect number. That makes sense. Drop shipping. I learned a word today.
Yeah.
Hey, one busy mama to you. Lisa, thanks for modding for us. We appreciate you. What is your opinion on promoting your listings on eBay? Frankly, it highly irritates me.
I'll be quick because we've answered this a lot, but we do not use promoted listings on our newer items. Anything 90 days or older, once it gets 90 days, we're like, okay, we need to start discounting these items and using strategies to move them out. At that point, we will consider promoting an item. What percentage do we choose? I pull the quality listing report from eBay, which basically says, these are the categories you're listing in. and these are why your items aren't selling, and here's what you can do to make them sell. And a lot of the times their suggestions are promoted listings, and it'll be like, hey, you're selling women's tops, these ones haven't sold, you're ranking low in this category. Did you know that 80% of sales that happen in this category happen with 6% promoted listings? And then I'll go, okay, I'm going to take all of those tops and I'm just going to promote them at 6%. And I kind of just trust, I guess, what eBay is saying, which for some reason is a very strange concept for a lot of people. But you guys got to remember, like, eBay wants to make sales too. They're pulling all the information and data for you and doing all of that work. Like, why wouldn't you listen to what they were suggesting, I guess? I mean,
if you try and it doesn't work, then you can always take the promoted listings back off. But we don't generally put promoted listings on anything unless it's sat for a while, and then we might look at it.
Yeah. I do find it frustrating as a buyer when you're, or even just doing sold comps, when you're looking for something and that promoted listing pops at the top and it's like something that you didn't even search for. Like, I do get it. It is frustrating and annoying, but the fact of the matter is, if you're picking up good items, they should sell within 90 days and you shouldn't have to promote them. And if you still have them, there's either something wrong with your listing, you've priced it too high, or it was never a good item to begin with. And so we're just like, I guess in my mind, I've just been really real with myself and my business over the last 6 months. And we've been flushing out items using all of the tools, and it's been working really well for us.
Jennifer, I have never personally tried to unshrink a slightly shrunken wool blend sweater. Honestly, we just skipped them. If you already have it, it sounds like you might have already sold it. If that's the case, I would probably cancel it just to be safe, but that's just me. But if you haven't, I would just add that to your listing saying, you know, this is a sweater, this is the size, it does appear to be slightly shrunken, these are the measurements. Make sure to include measurements on literally everything. But maybe some people in the comments here have some better suggestions of things that they've done. Honestly, we try to just avoid those things and like list them as is. If we've noticed it, we list it as is and we just make notes on it and we move on.
You just found, you were just talking about today, you found a Peruvian connection sweater, but you had to leave it behind.
Yeah, it was like the size of my 5-year-old and it was not his size. We do not, Outcast, we do not have a weekly budget for sourcing. We currently, how many are we at now? We've changed this number so many times.
We pick up, we're doing about 250 right now.
We're about 250 a week is what we're shooting for. We've influxed a little bit because of holidays and whatever. But we shoot to get 250 to 270 items ish a week. Is goal. Obviously, we try to find more than that to get ahead, but that's what we're listing each week or what we're working on each week. We do not have a budget on cost. We just have a general idea of $5 into $25, $10 into $40, just kind of as ranges on how much we're willing to spend per item. But we will pay up for items if we know we're going to sell it for quite a bit. So we don't have like a weekly budget. Do you recommend any? Oh, okay. Everybody watch Kaylee's face here.
Okay. I'm not going to read the question.
Do you have any recommendations on any specific photo apps or software to quickly fix photos? Y'all, okay, have you ever like fallen in love with somebody and then had them just like destroy everything you know, and then they do it and you fall in love with them again, and then they destroy every notion, and then you like hate them, and then you love them again, and then they destroy it again? This is what it's like taking photos with Kaylee.
I'm a monster.
She's a sociopath.
So remember how we were just talking about eliminating steps and processes? So we kind of mentioned it in a previous, I think it was a what sold video. I mentioned it, and I had to mention it because I was showing the photos. I knew people were going to ask. But lately, and I think we've pretty much decided on it. You can tell me if you think not.
Yeah, we have. But it's been, when I say back and forth, it's been very back and forth.
Yeah. So maybe we'll do, don't tell them everything, not the whole process, but like we ended up on this one decision, which we are currently doing today. What is that?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And when I say that, She said no, her question was so emotional. We are doing absolutely nothing. So quick, like, story time, real quick, because we got stuff to do. But we started from doing it with 2 umbrella lights. We went to 1 ring light. We went to 2 ring lights. We went to no lights and no background removal. And somehow Android has auto corrected all of the light with no lights. And we literally moved everything.
Yeah.
Hashtag triggered.
So, yeah, I think it's funny. Sometimes you guys ask questions, and sometimes we either react or I can tell we're like stewing, trying not to react, but like, obviously things happen here at the office that you guys don't know about, right? But we have been, for the last few weeks, like going back and forth on our photo process.
This has been like, what, 3 weeks?
It might have been longer, because I know I've talked about it for a while, but I'm like, okay, we are about to be maxed out, like, on what we can accomplish in a day. Like, our new hire is almost to the point where she's listing what we can max her out on. Our other hire is already there.
Yeah.
Like, we have eliminated everything that we can think of. Like, what's next? And I was like, well, we could not do background removal anymore. And she was like, oh.
Kaylee starts with all the things that she knows she can make me change that I, like, won't give her a lot of backlash on. And I'm like, just kind of, just shrug your shoulders. Like, it's fine. Whatever. It's cool. And then once she gets rid of all of those, like, she knows. She's just like, hey, so you want to talk about something? Let's try something else. And she watches the side eye come out where I'm like, but I don't like change, and I try. That's where Kaylee challenges me to try things. But honestly, it worked. And I know I've brought up in the past about, like, bringing people into your business that, like, will shake things up and make you uncomfortable, and it's worth it because clearly we're going to save a bunch of time.
Yeah, our photo process, I mean, we're no longer having to do I will tell you, by the way, a program. If you're interested in background removal and you want to do that for your business, I do know 2 things you can use that are really good. But we just recently made the decision to stop background removing and no lights, which that might change. We'll have to see.
But I like it. I'm sold. Send it.
Yeah, but and do our photos look as good as when we did background removal? No, they do not. Has it made a difference in sales, though? No, it has not. So
it does make a difference in time.
Yes, it makes a huge difference in time, which tells me we're going to be able to get more items up. And like I said, we were maxed out, so that had to come from somewhere if we were going to increase anything or, like, add anything. But it's also just peace of mind for me. Like, okay, we've eliminated a step. Our process is much more simple. So when we hire someone else, that's one less thing we have to teach them, and they're going to be less stressed out too. And so for me, that's the biggest thing. But we just, yeah.
And space-wise, it saves up so much room for, like, them walking around stuff. So
yeah, I'm not gonna lie, our photos did look like bomb and like catalog worthy.
Yes and no.
Okay.
Like, the majority of them did, but, like, all the white or the light colored items looked atrocious.
That's because we weren't putting them on the carpet, though.
Yeah, but I feel like a lot of those items we could hang up again and they would look better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they weren't getting blurred out by all the other stuff.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
I'm not talking like white. I'm talking about, like, light pinks and things like that we keep throwing on the floor.
She's like, hey, can we go back to the apps? Yes.
Sorry.
We can. So we, again, just made this decision, but before that, for a long time, we were using PhotoFuse. Mm-hmm. And we probably, I mean, I still might even make a video about this, even though we're not doing it anymore, because we do really love PhotoFuse. It's spelled Fotofuze, and I think it's available for both iPhone and Android, but there's an app you can use. We use the desktop version and the bulk functions on that. I do think you have to purchase, like, the Pro every month for that. But the app itself is free, and it is so worth it.
It's really good.
It's really good. The only other option is that I know of that's really good is Photo Room. That one's pretty good as well.
I like that. That's the one on this perfectly. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you can use Photo Room, like, as an app itself, but if you have List Perfectly, if you have, I think it's business or hire maybe, then you automatically get photo room if you're listing through List Perfectly. So if you're already doing that, then you might already have a background remover. That's really good. But otherwise, we really suggest Photo Fuse. So I really enjoy Photo Fuse. Sorry for that rant, but this was our, we're letting you guys know we've changed some things.
And letting you know that Kaylee made me very uncomfortable. Grabs and Deals talks about liquidation. He recommends getting a vendor certificate if you're going to do, and then go in person and make connections. Grabs and Deals, Rich, there is the Mrs. Espo down here a little bit further from your last comment asking about liquidation. Maybe the two of you guys can kind of chat about liquidation and what that process is for you, because like I said, it isn't something that we're super familiar with. We don't typically do that. I do know that you can get like bundles of liquidation online. You can get them from like pallet sales, things like that, if that's something that you're looking for. But that's not something that we currently do. And I do know that a lot of times it's dependent upon your location as well. Sometimes like smaller communities have liquidation options as well. So the Mrs. Espo, I would reach out to Rich at Grabs and Deals to see if he can give you some more advice on that as well.
I don't think liquidation is a bad business model. I just think that it's harder, and it's definitely way different than what we teach. So I'm just gonna throw it out there. Say I'm not an expert at liquidation. I do think you need to be an expert to be profitable in that category. So,
Joanna, thank you for making it today. We're glad to have you. Do you list duplicate items, and how do you list? Let's say you have 3 of the exact same item, brand, color, etc. on a top or a dress. Do you use 3 different listings with titles, each slightly different, or do you list them all together? If they were exactly the same, I would list them all together because it'll save you time for doing so.
And fees.
And fees. That's true too.
So you can either do, if it's the exact same size, exact same color, like it's literally the same item, but you have a quantity, you just do 1 listing, a quantity of 3. If it is the same item but different sizing, you can do a multi-variation listing. Poshmark and eBay have that. I can't really go into detail on how to do that in here, but you can look it up. But it is possible to do 1 listing, like a variation listing, and we've done that in the past as well.
Lisa said she got a buy one get one sale on sweaters, $1.50 each. Whoop whoop.
I saw a lot of people had like Black Friday thrift store sales. I did not hear about any of those in our area. Did you?
No.
Yeah, I was jealous.
Okay, we're gonna rapid fire because we have a lot to go, and it is 3:06.
Oh Lord. Okay.
Okay. I'm going to just questions. So if y'all have a question I skip, let me know. Everybody hit the like button. Let's do that. Thank you.
We have 186 people on, guys. 51 thumbs up. Take a second. It's a free way to help the channel, and it really does help support us.
How often do you do an inventory, and when do you do it? Do you shut down for that day or days?
Say that again. The inventory?
How often do we do inventory? And when you do we shut down?
Okay. No, we never shut down our store.
Ever.
Ever. Since I've had employees, as long as there's someone here to ship, we never shut down the store. We don't even put it on vacation mode. So we just do shipping first, but we don't do anything else that day. I will say that. We get done shipping that has to be done, and then we don't do anything else that day. So in a way, we kind of do shut down.
Yes.
But how often do we do it? It has been increasing because we have increased our listings significantly. When she first started, I had never done an inventory. She did the whole thing. And
by myself in like 3 days.
Yeah, and then we did another one. We did 2 this year. Mm-hmm. But I think with the amount of items we have, we've talked about possibly having to do it quarterly. And if we did it quarterly, then it would go faster. Nikki has become like
the inventory specialist.
The inventory specialist, but also like an Excel sheet manipulator. And we've both learned like a lot of functions you can use to make that process like so much easier. So I would say that we haven't necessarily decided, but probably going to move to quarterly. But I would say for most of you, if you've got like 2,000 listings or less, I would say like biannually would be probably a good thing.
We are to answer that question. Yes. One busy mama says, by ending a stale listing, it's like spring cleaning and lightens your load moving forward. That's true. Do you have items that have 0 views? I have some and have changed the title, but they are still with 0 views. What to do in this case? I don't know if all of yours are that way or if it's random, but we've noticed that a lot of our stuff has had the view count messed up. It literally told me we had like -3 views the other day, and that doesn't make any sense.
If you're just talking about right now, yes, eBay has some kind of a glitch that they're aware of. So if you have like watchers but no views, obviously something's wrong. If you're talking about not within the last couple of weeks and it's just like items aren't being seen by your buyers,
I wouldn't even worry about it.
Yeah.
I don't pay attention to watchers at all. That would just be very, like, I don't know, mind-numbing, I guess, to, like, watch it, and very discouraging to watch. Be like, oh, this doesn't have a view, this doesn't have a view,
I used to. When I first started, I was obsessed with the watchers and the views. Now I just don't pay attention. I list it and I move on and I focus on listing, sourcing better items and listing better items.
Question is,
she's processing.
Cicely, I'm not sure what brand you're talking about. She's talking about a brand restriction that you're not allowed to say, or you're not allowed. Oh, you don't know what brand it is either. There is a restriction on a brand that says you cannot, eBay says you cannot list it. Do you know of any brands you are not allowed to list on eBay?
I mean, there's like a Vera list, but there's something called a Vera list. It's VERO, and brands basically protect their label, and you're not supposed to sell unless you're like an authorized dealer through them. So I would check that list, just go into Google and type eBay Vera list and make sure it's not on there.
Is About Face a brand?
I wonder if she meant the North Face.
No, I don't know. It looks like it's a makeup thing. If you're talking about makeup, I'm like really not the person to ask. I'm so sorry. I keep trying, but it's not.
I would check the Vero list and see if it's on there. And if it's not, just contact eBay and be like, what the heck?
What is this? Yeah. I would think right now people can't buy these things due to food, gas, and life items themselves. Cheaper to go buy them themselves. Might have to lay back things that you're picking up. I think most people will have to buy reused stuff or resell stuff because prices are getting more expensive. How do you like the new eBay up to 24 photos? Have you added on some listings, or do you feel it might increase the algorithm?
I personally don't think it's gonna make a difference in the algorithm. I've seen people pose that question a lot. We just noticed it, like got the notification for it the other day. We have not, usually, to be honest, what we ask our photographers to do usually ends up being like 10 to 12 photos. So I don't think I would waste time like asking them to do more, because again, we're trying to make things simpler, not more complicated. But one thing I did consider is like possibly using their video function because it'll give you more space for that now, whereas before I didn't really consider it because I was like, well, we need to reserve the space for the photos. But like we just sold what was an Arcteryx vest or something like that the other day, and the buyer claimed the zipper didn't work, but it actually did work. And I was like, well, that might be an opportunity for us to add a video of something like that.
Yeah, and showing it zips.
Yeah, and showing it, because now you can add video on both Poshmark and eBay. So to answer your question, I'm not doing anything about it. If we end up with more photos or a video, that's great, but I don't think it's going to make that big of a difference for us or the algorithm.
If I offer free refunds and pay for the return label, do I refund the shipping I paid, or only refund the buyer the item cost?
If you offer free returns
and you pay for the shipping label,
you do not need to pay the original shipping amount. Unless you are the one who made the mistake and you screwed up, then I would refund the whole thing. But if you're just talking about like the item didn't fit, they just didn't like it, if you do free shipping, you pay for the return shipping, but you don't have to refund them the original shipping cost. And I definitely wouldn't, for those reasons, to reserve that cost for yourself.
What would you consider a good click-through rate on eBay?
You know, to be honest, I have just, this is bad to say because I really should. But to be honest, that little square, I don't pay attention too much. The reason is we sell on multiple platforms. So for me, I guess it's hard for me to gauge what would be good because we've split our sales on 2 platforms. So I can't really say. But if you watch Daily Refinement's channel, he talks about those numbers a lot more and gives a little bit better insight, but I honestly couldn't say.
Do we list off-season items? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we sell internationally, so we still have, I mean, we sell bathing suits right now, and then in the summer we're selling puffer coats. So if it's a good item, it's a good item, and we just go ahead and get it listed. And I've learned this year that there's definitely something to be said for listing ahead of season too. So we definitely absolutely list everything when we get it.
Hannah wants to know, have you all had issues with other sellers stealing your photos? I just so happened upon a listing on Posh where they stole all of my photos from something that I listed on eBay. I have not seen that happen.
I've seen some people talking about it. I've not come across mine, but to be honest, I don't really browse Poshmark enough that I'd be able to say. We don't even do our comps on Poshmark usually. We do them on eBay, so I wouldn't really notice. There is a setting for, I just came across this the other day. There is it's called like reposh settings, and you can choose to allow them to use your photos or not. So you might go back there and like uncheck that, just make sure it is unchecked. If it is already unchecked and people are using your photos, you need to contact Posh and report them.
Yep. It's actually a copyright claim, and you can actually have those listings removed for not having the proper, what's the name? Proper signatures, whatever, proper release of using those photos. They'll actually take the listings down. Hello.
Thanks for getting on today, guys. I'm glad everybody, I mean, it seems like these afternoon sessions are doing well. We got 179 people watching.
List Perfectly got me in trouble when I was deleting stuff from all my other sites. When sold, it was not removing from eBay. It showed it did on the app. I didn't realize it and had to cancel 3 orders. Ouch. eBay dropped me down a level because of it. I'm so sorry, Rachel. That's rough. Kaylee mentioned earlier about checking. I run a spreadsheet check between eBay and List Perfectly just to verify that everything really is on List Perfectly and on eBay that's supposed to be there. It's super easy. Maybe I will like add that somewhere where you guys can find it. Just to make it a little bit easier, but it's really so easy. You can run like a CSV file for both eBay and List Perfectly, and then run like a match program just to see that everything has a match. And I do that. It took me I don't know, maybe an hour to 2 hours today to run through the list, and it was verifying that everything that was on List Perfectly, eBay, and Poshmark were all there, and getting rid of all the duplicates and correcting all of them. So if there were any issues, it allowed me to do so. So yeah. I would recommend that as well.
It sounds like you're using the delist feature. I don't use that because it's too slow for me, and usually when we take down items, we're on the go. We've only got our phone, so you know, you have to use it on the desktop version. But my understanding, the few times I've used it, is when you do that, it pops up a new window, and then it searches your eBay listings, and then it ends it in that, and it should show you like a confirmation on there. So if you're not checking that to like double confirm that that went through, or seeing if there's an error, you might want to pay attention to that tab. And maybe you are, and maybe it was just a fluke, but glitches are going to happen, guys. I mean, glitches happen on eBay, glitches happen on Poshmark, List Perfectly. I'm sure Poshmark VA, I haven't had one happen on that yet, but things are going to happen. You got to set I guess, like things in place to double check all of those things periodically to make sure that you're on the right track.
Yeah, ditto. I was going to add something else, but I think you hit it. EGV Vintage says she has, I'm assuming you have 345 listings, but you don't want to list anymore until you really understand what you're doing, because you don't want to fill your store with things that don't sell.
Smart.
It is smart, but I will also tell you that you need some consistency too. So you don't want to completely like abandon your store. I would find a few items that you can still list, like a couple a day, to just keep it active and keep things moving without adding a significant amount to your store. But definitely do some more research, get to a place where you feel comfortable, kick out some maybe processes that don't work, change things up, and then just really start bulking up if that's what you would like to do.
Whatever you can get, spread it out throughout the week for your consistency. But I think that's really smart.
What platform and resources to learn about do you suggest when you want to sell the high-end items versus the bins? We do sell high-end items too. Not like high-end, like $1,000 items, but we do sell a couple $100 items here and there as well. The only reason we kind of also sell the cheaper stuff is because we're already coming across it and finding it, and it has a good sell-through rate. If we know we can sell it, why just toss it back in the pile?
There's definitely some reseller channels. I can't think of all of them off the top of my head, but I know there are some reseller channels that I follow that I'll occasionally watch, that they only focus on like designer high-end brands, which I think is the question that you're asking. The one that does come to mind that I know about, although she recently has switched her business model a little bit, is Mogi Beth, Mogi space Beth. She used to focus on really high, like designer, really high average sale price items and brands. So maybe go back and watch some of her older videos. They're not too old, but like I said, she recently just switched to being okay with selling stuff at a lower average sale price. But I would definitely recommend watching her. She has some decent stuff.
Have you guys ever fought a item not as described? I thought we always had to accept, but have had a few clearly bogus ones lately. Girl, preach.
Yes, we fight them as much as we can. We usually report the buyer, and then if it is like, I don't know, if I notice that it affects my seller rating a few days later, or if we get like a bad feedback but it's not true, I'll contact eBay for Business on Facebook Messenger and just let them know the situation, and they usually take care of the problem. But I would definitely, eBay has like preloaded options now that you can say, I have a problem. What's the problem? You can say the buyer made a false claim, or the reason that the buyer gave was incorrect, and you can choose those things, and I would definitely report them.
Donnie Lane, I wrote down that you'd like another video about that, and we will work on making a video about updated office setup, things like that for you. Hi, welcome. Have you considered letting someone run your items as a promotion? Have you seen people do it yet for a Posh live shows?
No, I just heard about somebody doing that, but I don't know enough about it, so no. I have no idea how that would work or if I'd be okay with it.
Thank you, Little Miss Nat, for tagging some more videos for us. Is it true that the more listings, the more sales? I have seen stores that have 600 sales and only 27 listings.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily. It's all about what you have.
I would say you can list and list and list, but if your items aren't desirable, they're going to sit and sit and sit. So it really depends on, good items. But definitely, I mean, there is something to be said for consistent listing, right? If you're constantly putting out quality items, then yes, you are constantly going to get quality sales.
Outcast, we do not put best offer on every listing. The only thing we put best offer on are items that we know we're kind of pricing high and then we're willing to negotiate on. The reason we don't do best offer in every single item is because we already price competitively. So we do the research. We know that, I don't know, everything's varying between $20 and $30. We're shooting for that $25 mark. We know that we're fair. We know that we're listing with everybody else, and we just typically don't accept best offers on those. But we will for high dollar items that we know we're kind of risking it on, or more eclectic items.
Or items 90 days or older.
Yes.
Yeah.
If
you just real quick, we are going to be getting off here soon because we're at an hour and a half just about. So if you guys do have questions, put them in the chat now, because as soon as we get to the bottom of this, we are going to hop off because it's almost time to go home.
Yay! I found a really nice Brooks Brothers herringbone blazer, and I didn't see the small hole in the back of the sleeve. Would you still list the blazer with the flaw? Yes.
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, when we come across flaws, I don't want to throw out a dollar amount, but I would say if it's something that's like $25 or less, we usually just toss it, because at that point, it's probably not worth listing and sitting on that item for a really long time. But if it's a higher end item and we notice a flaw later, then we'll just highly discount it to get it to move. But I would say that it probably would still sell.
Roberta, I hope you have good luck in Minnesota. I hope you find all kinds of goodies. How much profit are you trying to make per item?
I think what it comes out to be, I mean, it varies because we pick up different, like, average sale price items, but like, let's just say it is a $25 item that we paid $5 for. We are going to do, let's just use Poshmark's fees, 20% just on the higher end. So that would be $5 off the top for fees. That brings us to 20 minus $5 for the cost of goods. So that's about a $15 profit. That's like generally, I would say, where we fall is anywhere between like $15 and $30 profit. But really what I'm looking for are quick flips. So if it's something I know I can flip within a week because it has a super high sell-through rate, like Life is Good t-shirts, but it's only going to sell for $15 and I only make $8 to $10, I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just more about the quick flip, but I would say we try to focus on, a minimum of 5 into 25, which would be a $15 profit. For me, that's like, in my mind, like a minimum when I'm picking stuff up at a regular thrift store.
Happy girl, we do have issues sometimes with people buying things and then leaving it pending. I've never noticed that they also have similar items, and maybe that's why that they're putting them on hold, is so that theirs is more likely to sell. I honestly never thought of it being like that, but we have ours set up to auto like kick back the item after so many days, and it like puts a ding on the buyer's account after so many, so that they're not allowed to purchase from us anymore. I'd recommend doing the same for your closet, and that way if that person does that to you so many times, they're no longer going to be able to purchase from you anymore or hold up any of your items.
It looks so good.
Our employee just got back from getting her hair done, and she looks phenomenal. The woman one. She looks great. We talked about the boxes. Ginger KJ1, I speak for both of us, we love the number system. She said, how do you like the 1 to 1,000 versus box A, B, C, D? Here's why. I'm gonna get into a real quick
bye, little Miss Nat.
Bye girl. When we used to do searches, and you would do we used to have like A 1 through 20, AA 1 through 20, AAA 1 through 20, and it got really complicated sorting them. With us having everything like 1 to whatever number, I can literally pull up a spreadsheet, put it in numerical order, and then everything for inventory is in the exact same list, the exact same order as the spreadsheet. So I can literally just grab a physical chunk of paper, go to the row, and then actually go through and highlight every single item. It's made it so much easier, where before I had to just kind of trust we didn't have anything missing.
I would say,
it's great.
Like, we also, not that we never have mistakes, or not that we never can, not find an item, because that's not true. Occasionally we do. but I would say that it's significantly decreased the amount of times that we aren't finding items, or significantly decreased the amount of times we're putting an item in the wrong place.
Yes.
Just because, you think about alphanumeric, you've got 2 characters that can be screwed up. You got your letter that can be screwed up, you got your number that can be screwed up. With numbers, it's just numbers, and it's a lot harder. It almost in a way eliminates a step, in my opinion, but we really liked it. We have been requested to do an updated inventory system, by the way, so we might need to do one of those soon.
We also started doing them putting them in the box by like number. So rather than just having like 1 through 20 and then being tossed in the bin, we put them like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever. And by doing that, if we like, I don't know, say for instance had 17, we just click Reddit, we thought it said 17, and we go to put it 117 or 17 and it was 117. When we go to put it in there, there's already going to be a number 17, and we're going to be like, wait, something is crazy. This wasn't supposed to be here. I must have messed this number up. So it's another good check for us. Sorry, Joe. We're glad you're here, though. What helped you figure out keywords and get eBay down? I don't know if it's my keywords with eBay or what, but I feel I don't get much traffic.
If you look up Kaylee Elaine keyword strings, you'll find the video where I announce my keyword strings document, and I also teach you how to make your own in there and like how I made my own, and it can be really helpful for you if you haven't seen that already. But basically what I did to just kind of learn all these keywords is, first of all, if I was listing an item in eBay, let's say, and I had to select something in the drop down as a style or a sleeve type or a collar type, and I didn't know what it meant, even if I knew it didn't apply to that item, I would Google it. Google is your best friend.
Yes.
If you don't know, Google. And then as far as like keywords go for aesthetic stuff and how I created that keywords document, I basically just went on to Google and go to Google Images, and like, let's say it is bohemian aesthetic. You can type in bohemian or bohemian aesthetic, and then at the top, it's going to suggest similar aesthetics or similar keywords at the top that you can click into the bubbles. It kind of like leads you down this rabbit hole. And so you can find, it's almost like a visual thesaurus, and you can click onto those and also have, in addition to learning that word, you can also see a visual example of what those aesthetics are. And so that's kind of how I built, I guess, my toolbox in my brain for keywords.
Toolbox in my brain, yeah. She says.
I'm still learning every day, though, guys. Every single day I learn new keywords.
So Michelle wants to know, on eBay, when you have multiple quantities of the same item, how does eBay calculate the shipping? If they add several to the cart right now, it's 4 ounces for one item. He wants 9. It should just multiply that by the number that they purchased, unless you have like a discount. Like we have a 2 or more, or like a flat rate $10 shipping.
Yeah, it just adds them all up.
Yeah, so it's just going to keep adding it. Essentially, if he buys 1, it's going to be the 4. If he buys 2, it's going to be the 8. And it'll auto-calculate that, because it's, to eBay, it's purchasing like 9 different items, even though they're all the same, if that makes sense.
I do suggest, though, if you can, if you're comfortable with it, maybe go into your promotions and create a promotion for a shipping discount. That way, if someone buys, something in that case, you can fit it in, let's say, a medium flat rate box. Let's say it costs you, even if you just want to do like a solid $15, that's going to be better than charging your buyer, an outrageous amount for priority mail. So I would recommend doing that. You can also, this is getting a little in the weeds, but you can also, the kind of limbo where they've bought the item but they haven't paid for it. If they add all of those items and they commit to buying what they want to buy, but they haven't paid for all of them yet, they're going to show up in your awaiting payment. You can send them an invoice, and you can change how much you want to charge them for shipping. You can calculate it there, and then they pay once you tell them, and it adjusts their total for them. That's kind of getting in the weeds, and I can't really show you visually right now, but that is an option also.
Can you do a brief definition of, or basic brief explanation of variation, how you create variation listings.
It's hard for me without having it in front of me, but basically you create a new listing like you're going to create a regular listing. And then somewhere towards the top, although I don't know with the new listing tool, I have not done a variation listing since the new listing tool, but somewhere towards the top, it'll say variation listing. If you do a control F and search variation, you can find it. But you click into that, and then it's going to ask you for like the attributes. Okay, what are the variations? Do you have different colors? Do you have different sizes? You click on the different attributes, it adds them to a section down below, and then you choose for each of those attributes, how much do they cost? How many do you have? You know, do you have different rules for each one? And then you save it. It's very clunky looking and it looks super complicated, but it's not. But I would definitely just search like how to do an eBay variation listing, and eBay has a guide on that, and that's how I learned.
I like that. Do you know if when you sell your 100 items or your 100 sold listings that if you just immediately become a top rated seller?
We were talking about this the other day. Honestly, I've been a top rated seller for so long that I don't know what the requirements are. But at least in the past, whenever I did hit that mark, it did automatically happen. And I think they send you a message or an email, but I honestly don't know. Things have probably changed since when I became a top rated seller, but I'm pretty sure it's automatic.
J.R. Benefield wants to know if we've ever seen anything or any items get kicked off of Poshmark. Said he was recently doing inventory and found 25 out of 3,000 listings gone, prompting him to have to go back and copy and paste them over again. I have not.
We've not noticed that issue on eBay for sure. We've noticed those issues on Poshmark, not so much, but even on eBay, I would say most of the time we thought it was eBay kicking them out, but we realized it was actually on our end. Something that, got returned and never got relisted, or something that went to limbo because the buyer never ended up paying and we didn't get it relisted. So a lot of times there are explanations for why things are getting kicked out. So you might just, look into that a little bit harder. But no, I've not noticed that on Poshmark.
Me either. I've never noticed any that go missing. Normally it's on eBay, unfortunately. Sorry, I'm reading through questions.
You guys have some good questions today.
Yeah, I know. They're so good. Hannah, I'm sorry they were jerks to you. That just sucks. I'm sorry. I know that saying that sucks doesn't fix anything for you, but I don't know why people have to do that. Honestly, they're just lazy. Like, take your own damn photos, but whatever. Started listing. What do you think the benefits are to having a store subscription? I think you have a video on store subscriptions. It might be outdated though.
Yeah, I think I had to take that down because right when I made it, eBay changed everything. We actually probably do need to make a new video about that as well. But
y'all, we have such a long list of videos we need to do.
That's not even it. I got a whole list on my phone. You guys probably think, well, I tell her videos that I want, but she never does them, so she's not listening to me. That's not true. I have a whole list on my phone of everything you guys have ever said. We don't have time, but we're getting there. We're getting there. We're working on some things. But what was the question? Subscriptions.
Yeah.
So benefits of a store subscription. First of all, on eBay, the first tier I think is only $5. The best benefit that you get from that is you get the eBay Seller Hub, which allows you to use like the bulk listing tool, and it lays everything out very nicely for you. You can use bulk shipping, a lot of bulk features, and things just look a lot better and are less clunky and make it way easier for you to do listings and use things in the back end of eBay, I guess. And again, only $5 to get that. Beyond that, you do get discounts depending on the tier of your subscription. So you get, like, let's say instead of paying, I'm just throwing out a number here, this is not the exact thing, but let's say, normally somebody would pay 12 cents every item that you list. In a store subscription, you might get a discount, and it might be like, okay, if you have this tier, you're only gonna have to pay 8 cents to list an item. So there's different like discounts on things, and what you have to do is you have to look at how many items you're listing every month, how many you've got active at your store, because once you get them listed, those count as listings that you did every month. Every time they renew, that's a new listing. You have to keep that in mind. But it may, in most people's cases that have asked me this question, it's actually more financially beneficial to you to have a store subscription because you will be saving money with the discounts. But we do need to do like an updated video on that, on how to calculate it.
Have you ever done a video showing how you calculate your what sold videos?
Man, we get this question a lot. I don't know what's so fascinating about it.
They love you.
No, that is also on, one of those lists, but basically all I do, guys, this is literally what I do. Okay, I have a Google Docs spreadsheet. I have my little like formulas in or whatever. They're not complicated. It's basically like how to get an average price. I take, my gross sales divided by the number that we sold. So it's nothing complicated. But the way I get those numbers is for eBay, I just go to the performance tab. I filter by the dates that I need. All of my information is there. It tells me how many or what my gross sales were. It tells me what the breakdown in fees were. How much did I pay in shipping that week? How much did I pay in fees? It even tells me the quantity that I sold. You'll only have that information if you have the eBay Seller Hub, which you can only get through an eBay store subscription.
Yes.
On the flip side of that, Poshmark, you just go to if you're on it depends on if you're the desktop or you're on the phone, but you just go to my sales, my seller tools, my sales report, same thing. You filter to the dates, it emails you a spreadsheet, and then you have all of that information there. So it's really simple. There are a couple like tricks that I do with Excel to, I guess, calculate the information faster, but it's really just that simple.
Diventory says that they heard because it auto cancels, you've successfully canceled this order. It no longer counts as a ding on the account. I don't believe that, and here's why. Maybe you're right, and I hope you're not, but maybe you are. I had a buyer like maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago that sent us an email on the weekend and was like, I'm gonna purchase X item on this date. Well, I just ignored it. Like, I deleted it and moved on because I was like, I'm not even playing with you. And then like 2 days later, they sent me a message and they were like, I just got a ding on my account. How dare you? Like, why did you do this after I told you I was gonna send it? Which we didn't. We just had an auto set to do, like, to handle after so many days. And they were like livid upset. Do you remember that?
No, I mean, we've had it happen before.
They were like lividly upset about it, and I was like, huh. So I do think it does still count, because otherwise I don't know how they would have like known that it created a ding and like we didn't do anything. But I could be wrong, or it could be new, because eBay is going through a whole lot of changes, so I'm not sure. But for all of our hope, I hope that you're wrong, and I hope that it does ding their account so that we don't have to deal with that anymore. Stacy, I love you, and I would love to start from the beginning, but we aren't going to start from the beginning.
This video will post after it renders, after we get off here. It will be available.
I am so glad you're here, though. EGV Vintage, we were glad you were here and glad you had a good time. We appreciate you.
Do we have people here? Let me know down in the chat. Do we have people here from that other channel, from Nurse Slipper? I saw a couple people that were like, I really enjoyed you guys on Nurse Slipper, but are you guys here from that channel and have never been on our channel before? Because drop a comment down below and let me know.
How many item specifics do you do? As many as we can.
A lot. Well, obviously we do the required. We don't, to be honest, we don't do everything. We focus on the main ones, like the ones the buyers are actually going to search for, like material, sleeve length, collar. Those words mess me up sometimes. Pronouncing them. But hey. But yes, we do try to fill in as many as we can, but we just kind of think about, okay, what is the buyer actually going to look for? They're probably not searching for character on an item that doesn't have a character. We usually skip character. They're probably not searching for like a specific style code number. We leave that blank most of the time. So, you know, we don't fill in everything. I think there is something to be said like filling in too much. But, you know, fill the ones that you know everyone is searching for every single time.
Alicia, you are our last question. We're not taking any more after you because it's getting real late.
I saw some people that were here from the Nurse Flipper, so hi. Thanks for coming on over. We're happy to have you. We hope that you enjoy this life just as much.
Pennies to Riches, I'm not sure how many unpaid claims they have to have. I thought it was like 2 or 3, but I could be wrong before they get blocked. But I'm honestly not sure how many they have to have to get kind of kicked out.
Saw some people mentioning that it might be better to build your own website and your own store. I don't think we'll ever do that because I have seen too many successful resellers with a branding way larger than mine who it was unsuccessful for. And that is because once you move to your own store or your own website, you have to drive the traffic. Yes. Right now, eBay is driving the traffic for me. Poshmark's driving the traffic for me, and both of those platforms are sending me their customers. I don't have to do any of the marketing. If that were to change and I were to start my own website, I would have to drive traffic there myself, and I could almost guarantee you I would be super unsuccessful at it.
Lisa, if you sell the eBay or the listing on eBay, yes, it's automatically gone on eBay. It's not still there. You don't need to do anything other than obviously ship the item. Stacy says you should just strap a GoPro on and literally live your life and record yourself all day, every day, and explain every single thing that you do. Is that asking for too much?
You know, we tried doing videos like that, like more of the raw footage videos, but honestly, people did not like it as much.
It's probably because there's so many bloopers. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah. Wait, I know this is like off topic.
Oh God.
But did you guys see, there's like this thing viral going around now where people are live streaming themselves sleeping and they're making a ton of money off of it. And they're literally just turning on a camera.
She's like,
they're literally turning on a camera and they're getting paid for live streaming because people are viewing it and people are tuning in to see them sleep. That's what that reminded me of. And I was like,
drop in the comments below if you want to watch Kaylee and I take a nap.
Maybe we should just set the camera up.
We'll bring in an inflatable mattress.
No, we could just turn it on while we're working and we literally just don't interact. We just work all day. You can listen to what we say. It's fine.
Oh my God, we can't do that. I'd get you demonetized in the first 5 minutes from all the F-bombs that come out of my mouth. What can you do if someone buys and does not pay? Why does it take so long for us to get canceled? So Lisa, if you scroll back to the beginning of this video, we talk a lot about orders getting canceled and what that looks like. I would check that out.
eBay keeps telling us that they're working on a fix for that. I hope sometime next year that buyers cannot do that and that they'll be forced to pay immediately like they are on every other platform. So I would look forward to that getting fixed soon.
Alicia, the time it takes to do a listing depends on what all you do for your listing. We kind of have an idea on start to finish for us, what that looks like. It takes us a minute to draft, 2 minutes for us to photo, and it takes us on average, say about 30 seconds to upload photos or whatever that looks like. So it's 3.5 minutes. And then from there, us completing the listing, it's typically like 3 to 4 minutes. So I would say we're at like, I don't know, about six-ish minutes start to finish on an item. But that's just based on what we have and how we do it. Depends on if you're doing measurements, depends on how many photos you're taking. It depends on how much information you're typing in, so on and so forth. So that kind of gives you an idea. We have our own eBay templates. We don't just use anything on there, but we did create our own custom ones and we do use those, for like the descriptions and stuff. But other than that, we like do it all on our own. Welcome for all of you first timers that came here. We appreciate you.
We are about to get off. I'm so sorry.
I'm glad you guys are joining us.
Yeah, we are literally going home in like 10 minutes. We gotta go.
Okay, I don't see any more questions, and we're gonna end here. So Other than when will we be on next?
We try to come on, We've had a lot of stuff going on, holidays, vacations, doctor's appointments, traveling, a lot of stuff, but we want to do every Monday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which I know is pretty early for a lot of people. We still are trying to do afternoons. This is like the first like real scheduled afternoon that we've done. It's obviously very successful. You guys have had a lot of questions. More people are awake and in the chat
and functioning.
So we do want to do one morning one on Monday mornings, and then probably I would say like later on in the week, like a Friday, let's say a Friday afternoon one or a Thursday afternoon, but we just have not been able to do that yet. But I would just keep an eye on the channel. If you're not already subscribe and hit the notification bell, because I do try to at least schedule them out at least a day ahead of time. That way you guys know when we're going live, and you should get that notification, or at least see it in your feed that we are going to go live pretty soon. So we will try to get.
We will try to be more consistent. We know, Tommy, it is so early. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
get yourself a cup of coffee. Go to bed early the night before. Wake up. Would be like, what is it? What's that show? Wake Up with Somebody.
I don't know. Wake Up with Kaylee and Nikki.
Wake Up with Kaylee and Nikki.
All right, guys. I see some questions coming in. I'm so sorry, but we're going to have to end it. But join us on our next live. We'd be happy to have you. This was a fun one. And thanks to everybody that came over from the Nurse Flipper Live. We had fun on that one. And we're excited to see you guys here. All right.
We will see you guys sometime.
Bye. Bye.